So I'm here at the Lyndon B. Johnson Museum, and after the passing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, LBJ created this legislation called Civil Rights with Dr. King. And I'm at the museum, and I wanted you to just get a perspective. This is December 1964, and this is January 1965, the next month, where Johnson is noted to be reading.
Open opportunity to all our people. Most Americans enjoy a good life, but far too many are still trapped in poverty and idleness and fear. Let a just nation throw open to them the city of promise through enforcement of the civil rights law and elimination of barriers to the right to vote.
Okay, so I want you to see it. This is the Democrats. They were not too happy about the civil rights. Let's go on. Oops, I think I skipped something. Okay, here we go. Oh, I got that one.
And we've got to come out with the qualification of voters. That will answer 70% of your problems. If you can find the worst condition that you run into in Alabama, Mississippi, or Louisiana, or South Carolina, and you just take that one illustration, get it on radio and get it on television, get it on in the pulpits, get it in the meetings, get it every place you can. Pretty soon, the fellow that didn't do anything but drive a tractor will say, well, that's not right, that's not fair. And then that will help us on what we're going to shove through in the end. And the earliest possible passage of the Civil Rights Bill for which you are ordered to disperse, go home, or go to your church.
He said, go back to your church. Interesting.
Wednesday, I will send to Congress a law designed to eliminate illegal barriers to the right to vote. What happened in Selma is part of a far larger movement which reaches into every section and state of America. It is the effort of American Negroes to secure for themselves the full blessings of American life. Their cause must be our cause too. Because it's not just Negroes, but really it's all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice. And we shall overcome.
I watched that speech with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that evening. I looked at Dr. King. But when Lyndon Johnson, the next president, said at the conclusion of the speech, and we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Dr. King stood firm. Tears came down his face, and we all cried a little. To hear an American president for the first time say, and we shall overcome. Dr. King said, we will make it from Selma to Montgomery. The Voting Rights Act will be passed.
The Selma police confront the peaceful
So there were people who didn't support, of course, as we know, the voting rights.
One of the ways that African Americans in the South were kept from voting was something called the poll tax, which meant that you had to pay a certain amount of money to vote. And guess who didn't have that money? An awful lot of African Americans in the South. So it was very important to get that changed if you wanted blacks to vote.
It was a very useful device for the segregationists as a way to repress black voting across the South. And of course, it became very contentious in the sense that the federal government now, you see, is seen as intruding on state lands.
I think that we've confronted with the
We heard that one already.
realistic problem that we've faced all through the years.
Oh well, one more.
Combination of the South and the Republicans. But I cannot influence the Republicans. Now, the people that can influence the Republicans are men like the local chapters of CORE or WACP or your group in these states where you've got a good many Negro voters. And you've got to say to them, now, we're not Democrats. We're going to vote for the man that give us freedom. We don't give a damn whether it's Abraham Lincoln or Lyndon Johnson.
Johnson uses the tragedy of Dr. King's death to hasten the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which banned discrimination.
We still got one bill in the Senate and one in the House. That's what the Southerners, the smart parliamentarians, want us to do. They want your wife to go one direction and you to go the other. Then the kids don't know which one to follow. Then we go to a conference. And suppose we get them all in a room and you come and talk to them and everybody else talk to them and said, please, get your agreement. We're willing to follow the Attorney General.
Racial discrimination and federal jury selection.
Lewis Johnson. I just showed that one. Okay, I'll look for that one. I'll go back in a second.
Johnson understood, as he once said, that Congress was like a dangerous animal. You had to know when to push at them to get them to move, or otherwise they just sit there. On the other hand, if you push too hard, they could
It
come
would
back
have
at you.
worked. Oh, I just read
And he
Snub down
also
what you said.
understood that there were those moments when something
No, I'm in
happened
Texas.
in the country,
Big man.
as the Selma demonstrations did, and the bully whips of the peaceful marchers, that you have to act immediately to mobilize that public sentiment and get Congress to act. So he called for a joint session of Congress at exactly the right moment, gave the fantastic "We Shall Overcome" speech, which then centered public attention on voting rights. And from then on, Congress really had to move to get that Voting Rights Act passed.
And the life of everyone that lives in America. Just as Abraham Lincoln stewarded
Today, we strike away the last major shackle of those fierce and ancient bonds. So let me now say to every Negro in this country, you must register. You must vote. You must learn. So your choice advance your interest and the interest of our beloved nation.
This is the last one, you guys.
Today,
What is it?
we strike away the last major shackle of the.
So I am at the Lyndon B. Johnson Museum, and this museum talks about civil rights. This museum is talking about the Great Society. Um, he compares himself, one of the videos said compare himself to Lincoln. That ain't true. They also want to compare him to be an extension of the finishing of the New Deal. That ain't true. But there's other things that we have to keep in mind that this president endured a lot during the Vietnam War, civil rights, Kennedy's death and assassination, what was going on in Guam, um, and many millions and thousands of people who died during that era. What I find interesting is all these phones. See all these phones? That is because he was obsessed with communication and having phones and recordings everywhere. And then after that, Nixon came into place. And Nixon was noted for, impeached based on that. So anyway, I'm going to continue on through the museum, and I'll do a tutorial later about it, but I want you to have an understanding of this president at that time. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, wait.
You either have to stand up or get knocked down.
Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar oil, like a syrupy sweet?
We must make a pledge that we shall always march ahead.
Maybe it just sags like a heavy load.
I speak tonight for the dignity of man, the destiny of democracy.